What's going on YouTube? So the midsize luxury sedan segment is filled with some big names. However, one of the often overlooked options is the Genesis G80.
And for 2025, it's getting an extensive refresh, bringing new exterior design and new tech.
So, how does this stack up against the also redesigned E-Class and 5 Series? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Let's get things started here under the hood. So you continue to have two different powertrain options for 2025. We have the up-level option, the 3.5-liter twin turbocharged V6. It's making you 375 horsepower. That's going to be paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and our combined fuel economy is coming in at 19.
Now, of course, we're going to be putting that combined fuel economy number to the test because we've been driving this around in the real world, and we'll be discussing our fuel economy over the last week. We'll also be doing things like our signature sound level reading on our home stretch of Kentucky roads. After that, we'll discuss resale and reliability.
But before we get into any of those things, a big part of the luxury car experience is, of course, the exterior design and the interior luxury. And when it comes to that exterior design, boy, have they nailed it. This is one of those vehicles, when you have it in your driveway, people stop and stare, they ask you questions about it, and it's been very complimentary as far as everybody that has seen this vehicle. As such, they didn't really change a whole lot in terms of the front end design. It's always had this very elegant look. This is a slightly updated version. You still get two different options. You can get a more of a luxury theme on your lower trim levels, but here on the Sport Prestige, you're gonna have the dark theme for our signature grille, as well as the more aggressive lower fascia. Now, in terms of our lighting, that's also continuing to be very similar, but updated for 2025. We have the new crystal design here for the same split headlight design. You, of course, have your daytime running light and turn signal indicator as well in two different pieces. And then as far as the rear design, you continue to have that really elegant design.
Yeah, I really like the way this looks. And as far as some individual features, let's dive into that. So we do have this like smoked chrome going through this piece. And then Drew's hopping inside so we can check out the taillight elements. So we do have an LED brake light portion. We're going to have an LED reverse light that's integrated down here and LED turn signal indicator. So really good looking full LED setup going through here. And then as far as the lower diffuser, that has been changed ever so slightly for 2025, so we have these kind of sporty elements going across the side. We're also going to have sporty integrated exhaust outlets because we have a sport trim level of the G80.
Moving on to the wheels, you have a few different choices. These are the biggest wheel options that you can get. This is a 20-inch alloy wheel. It has that cool kind of textured design, which is another distinct design element on this vehicle's exterior, and you also have the side-mounted turn signal indicator, again with that signature split design. Now, as far as the mirrors, they don't mess around with these. These are fully loaded on every single version, so that includes blind spot monitoring, power folding, auto dimming, and heating.
Now at the side of the G80, it's just shy of 197 inches in overall vehicle length, which does mean that this is going to have a very elegant design because it's actually quite a long sedan. I want to point out that your roof is going to be fully blacked out, which really looks nice with this contrasting paint color. And as far as your safety systems are concerned, they're not messing around with that either. You're going to have every single system as standard equipment, including Highway Drive Assist 2.0. But Genesis has done arguably even more on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now, like Mason was saying, there are some big interior changes, but before we hop inside, we need to take a look at the key fob. We actually have both key fobs this time, so we got a black and a white one. It's the newest Genesis design, of course. Really a beautiful look to these. They feel nice and high quality. Smart entry and remote start are standard. We also have the smart park system, and you have the available digital key, which is your phone as key. Now, as you approach the vehicle, the mirrors will go ahead and fold outward, and then you can just reach behind the handle to unlock the door. And then take a look at that interior. We have a beautiful design, a lot of new enhancements, especially with technology. But as always, we're going to begin our tour with the seats. Now, only the fully loaded 3.5T Prestige is going to get you these Napa leather seats. The other versions are going to come with leatherette or leather. However, as you can see, these seats are absolutely stunning. I love this quilted design. We have, of course, the red color option with the black piping, and these seats are really, really comfortable as well. It's just an overall lovely experience. You do have other color choices if you don't like the red, of course. And as far as your adjustments, you're also going to see that there's a ton of those as well. We have things like power thigh extension. We even have this button right here, which is going to activate our massage. And this is a really good massage. It is a genuine massage that'll really dig into you if that's what you like. And of course, over there on the door trim, we do have memory seats as well. But it's time to go ahead and climb inside. And closing up the door here, I did fail to close it. Just wanted to demonstrate that it has soft closing doors. And let's look at the overall cabin materials. So, beginning with our door trim, we're going to have a leather trim all through here, as well as through the center section, and even soft touch materials way down here on the lower panels. We've got a carbon fiber trim. This is going to be included on this Sport Prestige model. You do have some wood options as well. As we move to the upper dash, this is all finished in more leather with the red stitching, more carbon fiber trim. Then we've got red leather that goes through here, a little bit of piano black, and then a big old panel of that carbon fiber trim. Overall, this cabin is just exquisite in terms of its material choices. It's very, very solid. Definitely as nice, if not nicer, than E-Class and 5 Series. But let's go ahead and fire it up. Now that it's all fired up, let's get into some of the individual interior details. Now, like always, I want to begin here with our gauge cluster, but I kind of need to just go ahead and talk about this entire display because as you can see, it is one single piece now for 2025. Genesis has brought in a huge 27-inch single-piece OLED display to replace both of those previous displays. And guys, this is extremely impressive. It's a beautiful look. This is some of the highest resolution I've ever seen on any type of display, and the software is very elegant. We'll get into some of that stuff a little later, but just know for now, the gauge cluster is very customizable. You can go in and change a lot of different things, including putting the map in there like I have right now. Furthermore, you have, of course, your blind spot camera system, which is a signature Hyundai Group feature. And then we also have a really nice head-up display, which again has a lot of useful information, including things like navigation. Now, pulling back here, we have a gorgeous new wheel design for 2025. We've got this two-tone red and black flat bottom steering wheel. We have leather over the airbag cover. It feels awesome in the hands. And of course, it is going to be power, tilt, and telescoping and have heating abilities as well. All right, let's talk a little bit about interior storage next. So I'll open up the center console here first. You'll see inside we have some donuts, of course. Here at Car Confections, we like to check the center console volume with stuffed donuts because this is our logo. And today we can fit in 6 donuts. So obviously that's not a ton, but that is very typical for this segment of vehicle and right in line with those German competitors. Now in front of that, this is where you're going to find your wireless phone charging pad. We also have underneath this cover 2 nice cup holders where of course you can stick your cups, but there are no additional storage bins for some loose objects like up here in the front. Now as far as our shifter, we have a beautiful glass shifter. It is an electronic style one. You just twist over here for drive. There are paddle shifters on the steering wheel that you can use. And then twist the opposite way for reverse. When we go into reverse, this is going to bring up our backup camera. As you can see, we've got the 360-degree camera system on board. And it does also have the cool 3D view so that you can actually get in here and spin all around the vehicle. Then just press the P right there on top for park. You do, of course, have brake hold and electronic parking brake. And by the way, the armrests are heated with the steering wheel. All right, let's move into this direction. This has also been redesigned for 2025. We've got a new layout that begins with our climate controls. So this is a 3-zone automatic setup here on this upper end G80. And one of the things I do like about it is the fact that for your main adjustment, which is your temperature, of course, that is a physical dial. That makes it nice and easy. The rest of this, though, is going to be inside of a touchscreen that has haptic feedback, so it's very responsive, and you can get that tactile sensation when you make those adjustments as well. Inside of here is going to be your 3-stage heated seats, and we also have 3-stage ventilated seats. And then above that, you also have this kind of the same thing with your audio controls. So as far as this, we've got a new Bang & Olufsen sound system on board for 2025, and let's give it a sample. Overall sound quality of this system is terrific. We have certainly enjoyed over the last week listening to all types of music in this G80. Okay, so let's kind of go back up to this display and kind of talk about this a little bit more. So obviously this does have new Genesis software on board, and one of the things I really want to talk about is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So right now we have that running on the screen itself, and lo and behold, check this out. It is running wireless, so that is a new function for 2025. Interestingly enough, when we got this press car, it actually was a wired connection, and during this week, we got the over-the-air update, which brought the wireless capability. So if you have one of these 2025 G80s or GV80s, that update is on its way for sure. Now, in terms of how this works, very nice and responsive inside of this system itself. And let's go into the main thing. Like I was saying earlier, really beautiful black and white graphics on board. It's just super classy. You've got a lot of different functions inside of here. And you do, of course, have things like a built-in navigation system as well. Now, up above here, you've got your auto-dimming mirror with your HomeLink universal remotes. The roof is going to be finished in a premium Alcantara. And then I'll pop open our panoramic sunroof. As you can see, the shade comes in the fancy split design. And then, of course, it does also open up. It has a really nice and wide opening on most trim levels.
All right, guys, let's dive into the G80's rear seat. Now, this is an area that I was incredibly impressed by this week, and the reason for that is because there's a lot of space and there's also a lot of luxury. Let's dive in to the space first. We're looking at about 39 inches of legroom and about 38 inches of headroom, which does actually make this one of the larger options in the segment, that's for sure. As far as this seat, this is adjusted to Drew's 5'8" driving position. I'm 5'9" for reference, and we are going to be looking at a very solid about 9 inches of additional knee room. That's very good for this segment. My feet can also slide up underneath the seat. And may I just add, these seats are incredibly, incredibly comfortable, guys. And this headrest feels awesome. It just hits you right in the best part of your neck for additional comfort. Now, speaking of this area, I do want to just go ahead and dive into some of the executive luxury features that you're going to get. If you fold down the armrest, you'll notice it's a big, long armrest to add a lot of comfort. We also have quite a bit of additional space in here. It's felt lined, 2 USB-C ports as well. And then this is also where you're going to turn on your heated rear seats. Do note, ventilated rear seats are not offered on the G80 like they are offered on the GV80. This button will also control your power rear sunshade that's included on some of your G80 models, and we also have 2 cup holders inside which do fit a Stanley water bottle easily. Now, we're not done with features though, because here in the center we do have vents. That's going to be standard equipment. We also have, this panel that adjusts your own climate, since we do have the 3-zone setup. Nice and easy to use all of that. And I do want to point out, heated rear seats are actually standard on all G80s. Now, over on the door trim, let's talk about this. You're probably noticing one of the features right off the bat. We have rear sunshades. They're not going to be power. They are going to be a manual setup, but I'm happy to see that we have the sunshades. The rest of the door trim is made of really nice materials. We have that carbon fiber trim, lots of leather, and even a little bit more door storage in the bottom. Walking up to our tailgate, we have a standard hands-free power one. It's a nice feature. And then as far as Overall space, 13.1 cubic feet is what you're looking at, which is a good size for a mid-size luxury sedan. It's going to be a little bit less than some of the rivals, though, so keep that in mind. Now, as far as features are concerned, we have kind of like a cool net here that you can get as an accessory. And if we lift up the cargo floor, there is a full spare tire underneath of there. Your cargo hinges are covered, and as far as the seats themselves, they do not fold, so you have that middle pass through there, so keep that in mind, though, that you won't be able to fully fold them down if you need that functionality. As far as our cargo length and width figures, overall cargo length is coming in at 41 inches. Cargo width, also very good at 41 inches wide. That's a very wide opening trunk. And as far as cargo height is concerned, it's going to be about 18 inches. So it's going to be pretty shallow, but overall width and length figures are pretty good. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel, the refreshed G80. Of course, in this test drive, we can't wait to show you a lot of different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting things like our signature sound level reading. But first off, we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
And as effortless as that, we accelerate to 60 miles per hour. So, like we were talking about at the spec dump, there are two powertrains with the G80. It's going to be a 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder and a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. Obviously, we have the latter option, and this makes really nice power figures. We're looking at 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. More than enough to get this up to speed quite swiftly, and I should add, quite smoothly as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys and just say that this 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, the level of refinement and smoothness that you're going to find on board is just, it's top notch. That's going to be really the first thing that you notice when you start to drive this vehicle is, oh my goodness, this is smooth. It feels premium. It feels refined. And really more so than just the power discrepancy between this and the 4-cylinder option, I think is just going to be that level of refinement. Do you want that refined luxury experience? If so, I think I would definitely choose this top-end engine option because even the base 4-cylinder does have pretty good healthy power numbers, 300 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. So it's not like that's a weak engine or anything, but it doesn't give you that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, as far as the other aspect of the powertrain, you have an 8-speed automatic on board. Again, nice and smooth transmission. Right now, we're just kind of in the standard comfort mode. This is what I'm sure most people will spend most of the time driving around in. Like I said, transmission really is emphasizing smoothness in this mode. There's a little half second if you really just punch down, but obviously if you want to drive in a performance, then twist it over into the sport mode, and that's really going to liven things up.
Now, you do also have standard all-wheel drive for all G80s, so you can't even get a rear drive version, which I do appreciate. But now that we've turned onto the highway section, I think it's very important for us to talk about overall ride quality with this G80. Now, of course, it's been refreshed this year, and one thing that really didn't change much is the phenomenal ride quality. That I talk about what you notice when you first get in. You notice the engine and its level of refinement, and you also notice that this thing rides like an absolute dream. When you hit a bump in the road, it just does a fantastic job of soaking it up. I find these seats to be very comfortable. Overall ride quality is very impressive, as it should be for this midsize luxury sedan segment. I do want to point out, if you're comparing maybe against the SUV version, the GV80, I feel like this has significantly better ride quality than the GV80. We actually just had one of those on loan not long ago, and this G80 definitely has way better ride.
Yeah, this feels like you're floating on a cloud, but it's also still very controlled as well.
And part of the reason for that really good ride quality is that the Prestige 2.5T and above will get an adaptive suspension. However, you're not going to have an air suspension option on the G80, so I think it's really impressive that the non-air suspension can have this level of ride. But let's go ahead and get our sound level reading. Put it on fan speed 1, and we're going 55 miles per hour. The rear climate is off. Wow, 52.1 decibels is what we are sitting at as our official Kentucky sound level reading for this Genesis G80. Now, I don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to the competition. I can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings, and on our website we posted all of the cars that we review on this channel. And for sound level readings, that actually makes this the quietest luxury midsize sedan that we have tested out on our channel. It is quieter than the all-new E-Class. And to be fair, we have not tested out the BMW 5 Series in Kentucky, so keep that in mind. But of course, that is a very impressive sound level reading. It feels absolutely serene in here. The windows are super thick. It's just a luxury experience through and through.
Alright, so I just put it into Sport Plus mode, which is very aggressive. Oddly aggressive, as a matter of fact. But it does demonstrate kind of, again, a dual character to really, most things in this segment do exhibit this dual character where you can be in the lap of luxury like we've been talking about and raving about, but then flip it into the sport mode, and then you come in and you can really take these corners. The suspension firms up nicely. The steering gets actually extremely heavy, a little bit too heavy as a matter of fact. But overall, you know, it's really quite fun to mess around with.
It turns the traction control
off, but you do have a regular sport mode you can choose if you don't want to do the Sport Plus. But yeah, I had the engine revved way up. It was, like I said, a very aggressive setup overall, but again, just a really impressive dual character. That was a little demonstration of our auto start stop system. It does have a conventional auto start stop. It doesn't have a mild hybrid like the main competition. The con of that is it's not quite as smooth as those are, and on a hot day like this, it basically just turns your climate control all the way off. So that's not great for a luxury vehicle.
But that also brings us to talk about fuel economy. So let's go ahead and dive into that. So as far as our EPA estimate for this G80, we're sitting at 1624 at 19 with this V6 option. If you choose the 4-cylinder, that goes up 5 mpg, so a significant advantage for that. 24 mpg is what you can expect out of that. Now, as far as our real-world fuel economy, of course, you guys want to know that after we've been driving for the full week, and I'm going to go ahead and get a picture of that so you guys can see that on the screen right now. We have driven 315 miles, and across 315 miles, our average fuel economy was 22.6 mpg. So that is pretty much in line with what the EPA is saying. Most of the driving was done on the highway. However, quite a bit of that was also done in the city, and we reviewed the car, so you leave it idling a little bit.
That 75-mile one is the city, and that's 18. So as you can see, actually it does track very, very closely to that rated fuel economy. However, it is less than the competition.
Yeah, and I think that today just has to go ahead and be the airball for the G80. It should have that mild hybrid system. That's something we noticed in the GV80 as well. Compared to the competition, you're getting worse fuel economy. The auto start stop is not as smooth, and it really just needs that mild hybrid setup.
Now, as far as the slam dunk is concerned, we're going to hit it with a pretty broad one. We're going to say the all-around package, especially with these 2025 upgrades, is just so impressive. Yeah. It really nails, I think, the fundamental things that people look for when they buy a vehicle like this. You know, you want to have that elegant, luxurious design, beautiful crafted interior, high-end technology and audio system, and it really just spoils you all around. It's been a joy to live with it. And I did forget to mention earlier that this top spec model also gets a rear steering system that is going to help you a little bit when cornering, on a curvy road like this. The probably more useful aspect of it is just that it will lower your overall turning circle.
Yeah, and as far as last things, your warranty is going to be Genesis Signature Warranty, which is a 5-year 60 basic warranty, 10-year and 100,000 mile powertrain, and 3 years of complimentary maintenance, which is class leading for the luxury segment. Now let's talk about pricing for this new G80. We started a little under $60,000, $57,100. Do keep in mind you have standard all-wheel drive, and then as you go up the trim structure, of course, this one's going to be quite a bit more expensive. This is the 3.5T Sport Prestige. That starts at $77,000, or, well, if you're reading the sticker, I guess it might be free. TBD, they haven't decided the price. Just kidding. As tested today, we're probably sitting just a little bit under $80,000 for this fully loaded example. If you're looking to buy a Genesis G80 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. So now it's time to discuss potential resale value and reliability for this new G80. First up, we'll talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this G80's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 42% of its original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 12.4%. Now, it's worth noting that it is very much on par with other luxury brands such as BMW, Mercedes, Cadillac, and Audi, although it is going to be lower than the overall industry average, which is typical for luxury vehicles.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic picture. In this regard, Genesis is rated slightly above the industry average and right in line with BMW and Cadillac.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values as well as our reliability information and our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale, carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a car is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be it for our week-long review of the new 2025 Genesis G80. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is that going to give you notifications on the most recent car reviews like this, it's also going to help us to have better opportunities such as this, being able to be one of the first people to have this for a full week. So please hit that subscribe button down below. You'll really help us out. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.